Welcome one and all. This week is a little bit different as this is an example specifically pulled out of Delta Math for the Trig Graph Discovery Level 1 example. Now before I get started on a specific example, I wanted to compare the standard form of both sine and cosine compared to the general form that the Delta Math emphasizes. You'll notice that they are pretty much identical except for one key difference, and that is that the standard form that I gave you guys has a plus or minus h, that is the phase shift or the horizontal shift, but that is one of the more difficult ones, and we're not going to focus too much on that for this week. So when it comes to Delta Math, they focus primarily on the amplitude, which is the capital A, the F, which is the frequency, which is the same as our B, and the capital C, which is our plus or minus K, the midline or vertical shift. So again, notice that sine and cosine is no different, but for the trig function itself. Now you do need to make sure you understand the difference between how they look graphically. So again, here's a quick recap. The sine has that weird like squiggly sign where you start mid, high, mid, low, mid, and then cosine is that U shape, which is like high, mid, low, mid, high. So here's our first example. So I have the work pretty much already set up on the side, and this is how you should probably tackle it in the order when you do these problems on your own. So what's nice about these examples right here is that it's more of a discovery where you get to actually see how the graph moves and how it changes based on what you write. So you really can't get these wrong per se. It's more like you got to just keep testing the numbers. Now, in order to be as efficient as possible, here's how you should tackle this. First thing is find the midline. So I have this like horizontal purple line right here, and I can like move this, and we're going to focus on the dotted line. The original is the solid line. So I'm going to move this back over here. So the solid line is the original basic function, and because we're told it's cosine, we can confirm it is high, mid, low, mid, high before it starts to cycle all over again. Now to identify the midline for the dotted line, which is what we're trying to get to, we just have to find the midpoint, which is right here. And this happens to cross the y-axis of -2. So my answer for this is -2. Now the amplitude again is from the midline to the max or min. So I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to go from midline to here or midline to here. Make sure that's equal distance, which it is, and the amplitude is 1, 2, 3. So this is going to give me 3. Now the period is the one where you have to identify the 5 critical points to find the one complete cycle. So we always start here at, we start here at 1, which is our y-axis. So this is high, mid at pi over 2, low at pi, mid at 3 pi over 2, and then we cap it off with our 5th key point, which is 2 pi. So because this is 2 pi, that means our frequency is going to be 2 pi divided by 2 pi. So I'm going to get rid of this and replace it with that. Oops, trying to get there. So 2 pi divided by 2 pi, easy enough. Thankfully, it is just going to be equal to 1. So we have all our pieces, and now we can go ahead and fill it into our formula. So amplitude we said is 3, so that goes right here. So this is 3. Our midline is -2, so that goes here. Again, it is -2, so make sure you put that negative clearly. And because our period is 1, we just have to put a 1 here. Now, because this is level 1, and I'm not really going to go beyond that, you'll notice that the period is going to be 2 pi over and over again, which means that you probably know what your B is. You can figure out the frequency pretty easily. So main focus is primarily going to be on the midline and the amplitude. And that's pretty much it for this section of the Delta Math assignment. Good luck.